Tonight our cooking demonstration will be led by Chef Ryan Conklin, also the Rex Hospital Black Hat Chef. Chef Ryan is a culinary manager for Rex Healthcare. He's a native of New York, but has been in Raleigh long enough that he is as local as anyone else at this point. He's became an executive chef at age 24 and has prepared cuisines for celebrities such as Anthony Hopkins, Michael Jackson, and Oprah Winfrey on a daily basis while at the Four Seasons Hotel in Manhattan. Recently, in 2010, he won an American Culinary Federation Gold Medal while representing Rex at the Cut to the Core Culinary Challenge in Charlotte with the Food Network celebrity Alton Brown as the judge. He also won a silver medal at a National Culinary Challenge in Phoenix, Arizona this year. Ryan is committed to reinventing modern healthcare food service and removing the label of hospital food. Welcome, Chef Ryan. And
all right. Hello, Paul. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I'm very happy to be here tonight. It's a very cool thing to do. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at Thanksgiving, which is next week, and we're going to be doing a healthy twist. You know, Thanksgiving meal sometimes can be a little fun, but a little dangerous as well. You know, so what we're going to do is we're going to take it and kind of reinvent it a little bit and show you a couple different preparations. We're going to be doing a marinated fresh green bean salad. Okay, we're going to use fresh green beans, tomatoes, basil, olive oil, salt and pepper, just very flavorful and fresh. Quinoa. Does anyone know what quinoa is? You love it? Yeah? Who hasn't tried it? Anyone tried it? All right, I got a couple bags to pass out real quick. But this is quinoa, and you can pass them around the room as well. You can look at it. It's a great item. Okay, I got here. It's there's some information in your packets there. You can pass it around and just kind of look at the bags. Very high in protein. A great substitute for a lot of things like rice and pasta. We use it many different ways at the hospital. We're starting to use it on our salad bar frequently. Both of those competitions that Doctor just described that I was in, both times I used quinoa in one. Okay, so that's very unique. And that was one of the things they're saying, wow, we have these chefs now cooking with, you know, whole grains and different ingredients, and it was really exciting. So that was a part of the factor of why we won. Is one of it was execution, but we were also using new ingredients and making it healthy. So quinoa, one of my favorite things to cook. We're going to be doing that today. The recipe you have is a base recipe for a quinoa pilaf. You can trick it out, tweak it out, do a lot of other things to it though. You can add, you know, tonight I added actually for the Thanksgiving season, we added some small amount of dried cranberries, a little bit of chopped walnuts to it as well. And some orange zest, which is the outside pith of the skin of the orange, just to give it some fresh flavor. And you'll taste that after I show you outside, but very delicious. And then we're also going to be doing a turkey franchise. Chicken franchise, is that anyone aware of what that is? If you had that before? Very popular in classic Italian restaurants. If you go to a good Italian restaurant, chances are they have a really good chicken franchise on the menu. Okay. A lot of times you'll see it's done with, you'll see butter, heavy cream in the recipe as well. We're going to do it a little differently. And, you know, we made a test batch back at the hospital this afternoon. I was really impressed. It was delicious, actually. And it's kind of inspired me for what I'm going to do for my family next Thursday. You know, we have that. And then for dessert, we have a nice, it's a sugar-free, I believe it's sugar-free pumpkin custard, okay, which is kind of like a pumpkin pie filling, but we've kind of served it in a parfait cup style, and it has a little dollop of sugar-free whipped topping and a little bit of cranberry in it just for some flavor. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is cook the quinoa. Quinoa is very easy to cook. I have black and white quinoa going around the room. There's also red quinoa. We buy this from our food service purveyor, but now you can see it more frequently in supermarkets. It used to be in Whole Foods only, but now I've seen it in some food lines. Harris Teeter's have it, so it's gaining some traction. We're excited about that. But there's a basic ratio that you use to cooking quinoa, and it's 1 part quinoa to 2 parts liquid. the liquid of choice would be to use stock, but you can use water. I've seen some people use, take the stock and add orange juice to it just to enhance it a little bit. But the basic ratio would be one part, this is half a cup quinoa to half a cup, 1 cup of water right here. And I'm just going to show you basically, it's very easy to do. The recipe you had has celery, onion, carrots in it. You can do anything at this point. I've seen, we've done it with bacon, we've done it with butternut squash, roasted zucchini, lots of fresh herbs, whatever you have. So I'm just going to toast it really quick. It just helps bring out that nuttiness in the quinoa. It's a really quick toast. And then all you basically do is you add your liquid, and you can bring it to a quick boil, and then cover it, and it will steam for about 15 minutes. So I just wanted to show you how easy it is. It's just like cooking rice, pasta. It's one of my favorite things to cook with now. So once this comes to a boil here, I'm just going to cover it up, and it'll start to steam. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start our green bean salad. And this can be served hot, cold. What I did is I took some fresh green beans and I blanched them already. Does anyone know what blanching is? It's basically you're putting it in a large amount of boiling salted water. Cook it for about 2 minutes, depending on what you have in there. These were cooked for about 4 minutes, just until they start to be green. They're just about cooked through, and then I took them out and I cooled them down in some ice water. Now they're perfect to use for a salad. We can steam them if you have a steamer at home, or if you have a rice cooker. You can also, but you want to cool it down so it doesn't continue cooking. Because what will happen if you don't take the time to shock them in ice water and cool them down to make your salad, the green beans will continue to be cooking. And then they'll be no longer green beans, they'll be brown beans. You know, and that's not really what you're looking for. So this is coming to a boil here. And I'm just going to cover it up and let it steam away. That's going to take about 15 minutes to cook. Luckily, I have some done already. So for the green beans, I have some green beans here, and I'm going to put them in my bowl. And I have some fresh basil that I'm going to chiffonade. Chiffonade is it's basically French for a ribbon cut. Okay, and with basil, it's a very delicate herb. You don't want to chop it. You don't want to chop it like parsley, because what will happen is start to oxidize, start to turn brown, and it gets very bitter. So what you do is it's a basic cut, and it's really the only way you should cut basil. And what it does is it prevents you from chopping it in many ways. Is you just take it. I have plucked all the leaves apart, and I'm just going to roll it up, just like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to slice it really thin with my knife. That's about all I need right there. So I have these nice thinly cut ribbons that I didn't have to chop and all that basil flavor come out. So it's just a simple trick. That's how you want to cut some of the herbs like basil. Tarragon is the same way, and sage as well. You don't want to really chop them too fine. So I got some green beans, some fresh basil. Now I'm going to take some Roma tomato right here, and I'm just going to chop it up really quick. Just a small dice on this. Got my Roma tomatoes, and then a little bit of fresh garlic. I'm not the powdered garlic type of guy. I'm a fresh garlic guy, all right? You know, and I come home every day, my hands might smell like garlic, and my clothes might smell like garlic, but the flavor of the food is so worth it. So if you can remember anything, powdered garlic, not so much. So I'm just going to give this a nice quick chop. More like a mince. And you'll have that really fresh flavor as it marinates. I only need just a little bit of it here. Okay. And to this, I'm going to add extra virgin olive oil. Okay. A little bit of kosher salt, just a little bit. Brings out all that freshness in the garlic and the green beans. And then some freshly cracked black pepper. Just to give it a little bit of acidity, we have some balsamic vinegar. Just a little bit of splash there. I'm just going to give it a quick toss. I'm going to let this marinate for a little while. Doesn't need long, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you could do it for 2 hours, it'd be better though. Forms a nice little sauce dressing on the bottom. There we go. I'm going to set this to the side for our plate. Check on my quinoa now. Make sure it's going okay. All right. Now, turkey time. All right. What we did is I took some turkey breast. You can buy it at the butcher. Just turkey. Sometimes it's skinless. Sometimes it's boneless, skinless. What I did is I cut it into little 2-ounce pieces. These little tiny medallions. And I pounded them out quickly with a mallet. And this ensures when you pound them out, it'll cook evenly. The turkey breast will cook evenly as you cook it. So these are small portions, but because I'm putting a crust on it, it's adding to it. So it's picking up the flavor of the Parmesan cheese and the egg that I'm doing. So I have this nice small portion. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bread it 3 times. I'm also going to ask for a volunteer to help me with the breading. Is anyone interested? All right, come on up here. How you doing today? I got some gloves for you right here if you want to help. And I'm going to show you first, and then you're going to kind of help me out a little bit, all right? But I have this, I'm going to turn my pan on a little low here, just to get it going. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the turkey, I'm going to dip it in my eggs here, okay? And this is the tricky part. Whenever you're breading something, you want to use 2 hands. Okay, and this avoids you getting clumpy fingers and all the breading sticking up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a wet hand and a dry hand. With my wet hand, I'm going to put it into the mixture, which is just grated Parmesan cheese and fresh parsley here. And then my dry hand, I'm going to just coat it like this. All right. Coat it on both sides. Now I'm going to dip it in the egg mixture again. Make sure it's completely coated. So you mind taking a minute and doing a couple more of those? Sure. Appreciate it. All right. Now, typical franchise dishes, you're definitely going to use butter, olive oil to help brown the dish. Can't do that here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I have a non-stick pan. Okay, it's real simple. It's a nice, clean non-stick pan, and what I'm going to use is some pan release spray, PAM. I'm just going to spray it real quick. Just a little bit. And then once this starts to brown a little bit, I'll know my pan is ready. Very good job. You've done this before, obviously. A little bit. All right. I'm just going to do a couple of these. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take this lovely chicken, turkey, I'm sorry. And what's your name?
Eric Campbell.
Eric, with Eric breaded for us here, perfect. I'm going to brown it right in the pan here. Another tip is whenever you're putting something into a saute pan, you want to drop it away from you. Never drop it towards you. This way you never have that splatter. If you're using oil or any of the egg or whatever, it would pop up and burn your face. So, little trick. But what we're going to do, I'll just put one more piece in. I don't want to crowd the pan because I want to get it nice and brown on both sides. So thanks a lot for your help. Pleasure. Appreciate it. Make sure you get one of those bags of quinoa that I passed around, all right? Oh. Appreciate it. Good job. Appreciate it. So I'm just letting this kind of brown on both sides. What's happening is the eggs and the cheese are starting to brown a little bit, okay? And you get the smell of this cheese that's toasting, which is really delicious. So I'll just test this out right here. Right when it's about this color, a little golden brown, I'll start to flip them onto the other side. Now, if I wasn't using a non-stick skillet, it wouldn't be a pretty scene right now. I would have, I'd be digging it apart, but having a nice non-stick pan really helps for something like this. And I'm just going to flip it on both sides. I want both sides to get nice and brown. Okay? All right. Quinoa's going. Sometimes you'll see with this dish, people will add capers. Caper berries to it, fresh basil into the sauce. I kept it really simple here, just so it can appeal to a good amount of people. But capers are one of those things that you either love them or hate them. you know. But you can add things to the sauce. I'd always suggest some fresh herbs, parsley, just to bring out some fresh flavors in the sauce. And what I'm doing is this brown's on both sides. I'm going to take some wine here. And what this is going to do is I'm going to deglaze the pan. I want to get any little piece of flavor I can from this pan. I don't want to just take this and throw it in the oven or throw it on a plate. This pan has now developed these little bits of flavor, and they call that fond, which is a base. So I want to get all that fond off so I can make my sauce. So at this point, I'm just going to take my wine, just add a little bit. I'm using white wine here. Red wine might be a little too strong for turkey, for cooking, but white wine will work really good. And what I'm doing is I'm deglazing the pan. I'm getting all those bits and pieces of turkey, all those little brown bits, just kind of scraping them up. Add a little more here. Smells delicious. Okay. And then as this cooks, I'm going to add some fresh chicken stock that we made. Okay, and that's one of the things that we're starting to do at Rex, is make our own chicken stock. Something you don't see in healthcare too much. You don't see people taking the time to, you know, to build sauces. They buy a lot of powdered, pre-made things. One of the things that we do that's unique is we have a black hat chef culinary training program where we train some of our cooks the basics of cooking. We get to show them what we learned in culinary school. So now we have them learning how to make fresh stocks, learning how to make, to roast chickens, to fabricate chickens, all different things. So they'll hopefully get a passion for food just like the chefs had. And the end result is better food for our patients, customers, and the coworkers as well. So I'm going to add a little more wine just because I see some bits and pieces in the pan. Then I'm going to add my chicken stock and let that reduce. Okay. I can't make the chicken stock here because it takes about 3 to 4 hours to make. Okay, but we make it all the time. That's what we're using now to cook our rice. We'll use it to steam vegetables off with sometimes. It's just a great thing to have around chicken stock in a professional kitchen. So I'm just going to let this go. This is going to saute, and as the sauce reduces, it'll thicken up. It'll be a more concentrated flavor, and at the same time the turkey is continuing to cook. I'm going to also add some fresh parsley at this point. A little more pepper for the sauce, and then some salt as well. Okay. Any questions so far? Smell good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, smells, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Freeze the chicken stock?
Yes, you can. What you see a lot is after making the chicken stock, I've actually done this in the past, is I put it in ice cube trays. Put the chicken stock in there, pop it in the freezer, and then you can pop it out as you need it, and you don't have to deal with the whole, Tupperware, plastic, it freezing solid. You can just pop it out as you need it. Most of the times when you use it, if you needed a whole cup, you use the whole ice cube tray. But it's a good way to do it. You can freeze it. You can freeze it in plastic bags as well. It'll defrost in the microwave easily. Okay. So this is simmering nice. You can just smell all the flavor. Now, classic Francais dishes at this point, as the sauce starts to reduce, that's when you get the butter and the heavy cream coming in. We're not going to do that now, but what I'm doing is that's why I really want to put emphasis on deglazing the pan, getting all the flavor of the chicken. So that's where our flavor is coming from. We have Parmesan cheese. Classic Francais dishes do not use Parmesan cheese. They would use egg, flour, and breadcrumbs. So they're getting their flavor from the butter and cheese. We're getting it from this light amount of Parmesan cheese, which is actually toasting in the pan. So that's kind of what we did to switch it around. I'm going to let this cook a little more. I'm going to talk to you about the dessert that was made for you out there as well today. I think you have recipe cards in front of you. Our executive chef, Ray DeTavio, actually made these for you. And what it is it's a pumpkin custard, and we made it parfait style, and it's really delicious. Another thing that you know, after doing this for you all here, we're contemplating putting this on our menus at Rex because it was really delicious, and it's healthy. It's just pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling, cinnamon, Splenda, cloves, ginger, some eggs, and some evaporated low-fat milk. We baked that. On the recipe, it says to use a water bath, which is basically putting it into little ramekins first, and then the water bath, what that does is it creates an even cooking temperature in your oven. So you use a water bath typically when you're cooking custards, creme brulees, some rice pudding, bread pudding. If you use a water bath, what it's going to do is it's going to control the heat in the oven and make sure it bakes evenly. We didn't use that because we baked it in big dishes and we scooped it out for you. But it's really good dessert. Chef Ray is very talented. He was actually featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives on the Food Network. He had a gelato shop in Arizona. So if you ever see that episode, it's called Brain Freeze. He's the one that made your desserts tonight. It's actually on the best of that show, so keep an eye out for it. He's at Rex with us as well. This is reducing nice. As you can see, the sauce is getting thicker as it reduces. How's that smell, sir? All good? Yeah. It's starting to get nice and thick. So quinoa, just about 15 minutes cooking here. I already have some done of the quinoa that you're having outside, so it's time to plate.
And your quinoa, is there a difference between the colors?
I haven't found a difference. What I do find is it's just nice. It's a nice color contrast because as it cooks and if you serve it hot, it continues cooking. Okay, it starts to get a little mushy almost. Not mushy. It just starts to kind of break apart. So when you have a different color, it just adds a little flavor contrast. But I haven't really found a big difference myself in cooking with it. But like I said, I took some quinoa. I mixed it together. But I have dried cranberries. There's celery, onion, carrots, as per your recipe, and some orange zest and walnuts as well. And I'm just going to plate this nice dish that I prepared for you. I have a ring mold here, just to keep it neat. I'm going to put some of the quinoa in here.
If you have to eat gluten-free, is that considered gluten-free?
Yes.
I believe so, yes. Yes. And other ways to do quinoa, it's great for as a meat substitute. You know, if you use cooked quinoa and then made chili with it instead of meat, it's very flavorful. We've done the same with wheat berries as well. They absorb a lot of liquid. Okay, so think of different ideas. It's high in protein, fiber. Use it in stir fries. If you're doing a stir fry dish and you want to use something instead of rice, or you're just looking for something different, cook a stir fried rice, but use quinoa instead. You know, it's something different, very flavorful. We've done one of the competitions I was in. We worked on a dish. It was a Korean dish called bibimbap, which is it's basically a Korean style rice bowl, and we actually used quinoa in lieu of rice, and they really thought that was unique. So that's what we did. And what I did is I put it in a little mold. Looks pretty here. And then I'm going to take our turkey and just going to reduce it a little more. What happened is as it reduced, it started to get really a dark colorful flavor. Get my green bean salad on the plate. My turkey franchise. The best part is just having the sauce labeled on it. The way you know the sauce is done, it's a term I learned in cooking school. It's nappe, which is pretty much French for coating the back of the spoon. Well, that's how you can tell how thick it needs to be. Is you take a spoon to it, and if you know you can coat the back of the spoon with it, it's a nice sauce-like consistency. So that's kind of what I did here. And then I'm going to garnish it with two things. These are some citrus microgreens, some of the things we use at the hospital. These are some baby greens here, just to garnish. Gives a nice color. And then I have some of our roasted red pepper coulis, which is basically a puree of roasted red peppers. And this is just to garnish the dish with. Put a little spoonful on it. And that is it. So we have a turkey franchise with a quinoa salad that has dried cranberries and walnuts, marinated green beans, and a roasted pepper coulis sauce as a garnish. Okay? Very easy to do. Now, is there any questions? Any cooking questions or?
Quinoa, did you turn the heat completely off?
I did here because I didn't need to really cook it anymore because I had it already cooked.
But at home, we would keep it heated for
About 15 minutes. What happens with quinoa, it's unlike pasta where you strain it. Quinoa is more like cooking rice where it actually absorbs the liquid. So once the liquid, it's very similar to rice. Once you see that there's no more liquid and it's not burnt and stuck to the pan, you've achieved your goal. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Does it cook in a rice cooker the same way, or does it need more time than the rice would?
I haven't tried it. I would imagine it would take this a little bit longer than 15 minutes in a rice cooker. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it can be done. I would probably go a little bit longer in time though, because they cook a little slow. Yes, yes. Yes.
Is it a type of grain?
It is not. I'm going to read it for you, okay? Because I learned a little more about it too. I've always been saying it is a whole grain, but it's a seed, okay? Quinoa is actually a relative of the leafy green vegetable like spinach and Swiss chard. They're calling it a grain, but it's actually a seed from these plants. And there's some information in the packet as well on the back of the quinoa recipe. Yes, ma'am.
Any repercussions for adding truffle to that chicken dish?
Truffle? Oh, I don't think they're. That just got me excited to hear the word truffle. None that I can think of. No, I'm not sure yet. I would love to cook with truffles every day. But, that's a great idea. Or maybe even just some white truffle oil on top. That would be great, very fragrant and be delicious. Yeah. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate being here, and I hope you enjoy. We did prepare some portions for you to taste outside of all the dishes here. And make sure you try some of the dessert as well. It's very nice to do this for you. All right.